Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 2 of the ARC GR3 Championship Series. My name is Lateral Gene. I'm joined in the commentary booth by
My Savoy.
And ARC Ruby, good evening.
Good evening to you, Ruby. How are you boys doing today?
It's alright.
Yeah, not bad too. Yeah, still a bit with a bit of phlegm in my throat, but we're still all good.
I have to say a bit of the same here. Everyone's got a bit of a quality of some of the drivers experiencing a couple of colds too, like notably Chili. Wasn't sure if he was going to make it today, but he's here. So, we're here at Sardegna, beautiful Italy. Should be some good racing here on today. Alex Rogers fast as normal. Chili actually has the pace. The same with his teammate Tay in the Citroen. So the Citroen actually seems to be a strong car here so far. So I'm going to jump over to the Savoy's track guide and we can cover a lap around Sardegna.
We're back at Sardegna, but this time on the road track B, and it's going to be host for the second round of the championship. It's the shortest track that we go to on the calendar, just over 2.4 miles, 13 corners and all. Lots of elevations on this track. It's a very grippy racetrack, a lot less unforgiving on the tyres. It should promise to be a very exciting race like it was at Kyoto last week. So this is a hot lap around Sardegna B, with me, my Savoy, behind the wheel in my Porsche 911. Probably the worst car to go for, especially on the start-finish line here, because the Porsche will be absolutely killed at the start of the race. But anyway, let's get back to a hot lap. Turn 1, Belby, second gear, 65 miles per hour. You want to stay over to the right-hand side for turn 2, Otana. For maximum speed for turn 3, Nora, third gear. Little lift off the throttle. Now the barrier closes in on the right-hand side, breaking the red bit here for turn 4, Domas Novas. 70 miles an hour, second gear. Now we're going into turn 5, Saracen. It's a banked right-hand corner. No, you're not watching NASCAR done right. This is a GT3 series. And now we're onto the backstretch, which is anything but straight. Turn 6, Villacidro section coming right up here. Turn 7 and all. About 150 miles an hour before braking hard at the 100 meter board for turn 8, Arezzo. Kind of reminds me of Laguna Seca, where you're fighting understeer to oversteer on that corner. Turn 9, Bologna. Why? Because there's pylons on the right hand side. Coming up for turn 10, don't hit the apex, use all of the curb on the exit of turn 10. Now for turn 11, a little lift off the throttle for Sestu, third gear. Into fourth gear, then back down to third for 10, 12 and 13. The last two corners, Obia. And then turn 13 right here. Like I said, this is the only penalty found on the track that we have, and that is a lap around Sardegna B.
Well, thank you, Savoy, for that beautiful, all the work you do with the track guides here.
Do you know what? There was one thing I forgot to mention. You know what? The turn 8 Arezzo, I forgot to say about Laguna Seca. I forgot to mention about the corkscrew. That's that. I forgot to mention that. That was my bad. When I looked back on it, I was like, oh fudge! I forgot to say the corkscrew. Oh well.
Well, now since we are the second race in the championship so far, we do have some points here. So here for our Tier A, we have Alex Rogers leading the way with 150 points after his win in round 1. We have Thomas TT in second place with Chili in third. The top 3, top 4, actually all top 5 there. You can see they're all different manufacturers, so there's actually a good battle going on for the Manufacturers Championship as it stands here, at least here in Tier A. For Tier B, we have Mermaid Bubble leading the way, Cro-Magnon in second place, and Jans in third place. Vindogask 4th, Nugatti 5th, Defy 195 6th, Matty 7th, and Law in 8th. And again, even there, you can see that's quite a good mix of field, at least in the top 8 there. So far, that I have to say, the way we the ARC did.
Is that all? That's all different manufacturers in the top 8, 9.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good there in Group B.
And then on to Tier C, we have Techno Guy 1 leading the way there, followed by Pierre CDB and Tarbo Tenku with Q in 4th, Gentorino 5th, Venom Snake QZ in 6th, Flat Out in 7th, and Eternicus in 8th. And even there, other than the Nissan in 4th and 7th place, you have quite the mix of cars. So I'd have to give props to the way ARC, that you supervisors, the way you've done it to make the teams after our time trial session. You've done a great job to try and mix up the teams and not have one car too strong in each of the lobbies here. But speaking of the manufacturers, we have Good Smile Racing. The Nissan GTR is currently leading the way in the manufacturers series with 361 points, followed by Yellow Sea Racing, the Jaguars in second with 342 points, and then Global Offensive Racing, the Aston Martins in third with 336 points. But only 6 points behind, we have Team Brian with the Citroens. And I feel like the Citroens here today are an underdog in this season. No one expected them to be as strong as they were.
Yeah, they're looking quite racy. We've seen them in practice in Chile, and I think also now Taylor Day is looking a little bit racy in that Citroen for today's race.
We do have qualifying now underway with ERA the Stig being the first across the line here in Lobby A to start his flying lap here at Sardegna. Followed by Jake, Dan, Harry, Alex Rogers in third, Willie Wug in fourth. Across the line, Beckham fifth, Cross, Thomas TT, PKMZ, Contrail, Dan's, Kobu GT, Hideki Sama, Kev Meister, Chili, and Tay. Now, one thing to note is we do not have Lemmy with us today. He's not been able to make it here to Lobby A. So there is one open spot for qualifying, but it will be filled by a driver moving up a position from Tier B. Another thing to note is after the finish of the last race, there has been 2 penalties assessed for the start of this race. We have Dan's with a 3-position grid place penalty and Thomas TT with a 3-position grid place penalty. Now currently on screen, we see the 2 Citroens doing a lot of fuel burning and drafting one another.
Well, I was just about to mention it. That's an interesting strategy actually right here. They following Chile.
We've seen a lot of that in the first race, didn't we? A lot of people drivers fuel burning and then going in pits to change it to a better softs.
Yeah, so it's interesting here that they were drafting each other for a bit there, so maybe a bit of teamwork, but it seems Chili, at least at the moment, has spaced away from his teammate here, so maybe trying to get a lap in on his own. Currently, provisional pole is Alex Rogers with a 1:18.6, followed by Thomas TT in second, PKMZ in third. So PKMZ seems to be back on in good form here after his, well, one way to put it would be dismal qualifying in the first round.
Yeah, definitely expect a better race from him today. I hope what was happening there. I hope he practiced a lot more than he did for last race. But the car might be stronger around this track today, hopefully.
Well, one thing for strong cars, I do have to point out, Alex Rogers is once again a favorite here to win. Alex Rogers is always a fast driver, especially in the Beetle. He seems to be quite comfortable in it. You have a lot of familiarity with the Beetle, so I guess you would have a bit more of a judgment as whether or not to say Alex Rogers' driving style suits that car. Another one to note, to keep your eyes on, are actually the Citroens. Excuse me here, just cleared my throat. We have Chili here yet to really set a flying lap, and Tay, his teammate. The 2 Citroens are actually quite fast in the practice lobbies we happen to run here. Doing it around mid-18s, so they're actually quite quick. And as I mentioned earlier at the start of the broadcast, they seem to be the underdog manufacturer that everyone kind of counted out. They kind of looked at them as like a joke almost, but they definitely seem to be a powerful car.
I think it's just mostly down to on the straightaways how fast the Citroen is. It's a very fast track, this, isn't it? So it may favour the Citroen in some cases.
That Citroen does have that 7th gear, so that extra top line speed on the straightaway does help it.
But mind you, saying that, so too does the Beetle. That's also got a 7th gear.
That is true.
Yeah, true.
So I'll toss it over to you guys. Well, how about giving us an update on Tier B's qualifying so far?
At the moment, Janir is in first position in the Beetle nonetheless, and he has a second advantage on Law 226. And ACZ Alex Gaming in the Jaguar, followed by Ampredi, Nido, Finogast, Morphles, but I expect a lot more faster times to be set as qualifying is going down.
Alright, Savoy, how about Tier C?
I was just about to say, that's Janir's first time, isn't it? didn't race last week.
Yeah,
but anyway,
he wasn't here last week. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, so what's happening in Group C right now is Pierre CDB is in the fastest in the Porsche. He's 1.4 seconds faster than Percy, who is driving in the Jaguar. Pierre did a 120.263. The Citroens of Gensolino and who's the other one? Chris F0120. They were sort of like battling with each other along with Percy. So I think Chris is just went into the pit lane just to get himself some space because they were having a bit of a battle there. But before in practice, though, Chris F, who didn't race last week, he's another driver for the Citroen. He was the fastest guy in this group, so I'd watch out for him to be in Group B. But yeah, it's Pierre for Tarbury's just dipped into second. 121.441 in the Mercedes, and now flat out forever's gone into second in the Nissan. So it's all changing so far.
Back to lobby A here. I just caught Contrail going off at the exit of Arezzo there, got in the gravel trap, so going to be an aborted lap for him, but it was an out lap, so not too much lost here. And Dan's currently sitting in 11th place on an out lap, yet to really set a solid time here. He's going to cross the line to start one now, but the story seems to be after Dan's weak qualifying in the first round at Kyoto. Now he's here, he has a 3-place grid penalty, and he's kind of been struggling in that Mustang just around this track in general. We could see Dan's drop back into lobby B for the race.
Yeah, no, go on, you go say something really fast.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that would be something massive for Dan for him to be in lobby B. We would not expect that at all, actually. He's been the champion in season 1, and he was the runner-up in season 2, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be a massive drawback for him, actually.
And I was going to say there, seeing him in 12th place is not good enough. He needs to be at least like 11th or higher, depending if the fastest guy in Group B is not faster than, or at least 2 or 3 drivers in Group B are faster than Dan's time. But sitting in 12th place, it's not looking good for Dan's. He needs to get faster.
And this is his first real qualifying pace lap here, and he's made a lot of mistakes through that. Looked like that second to last sector here went wide through a lot of corners, took the tires into some of the gravel traps, so it's not going to be the best lap from him, and he's immediately going to abort and just put on a new set of softs.
I'm sorry to interrupt here, guys. I have an interesting update for lobby B. Jans999 just put himself in second place in the Beetle, nevertheless, so the Beetle might indeed be a very strong car around here.
This track does tend to favor, cars that have a little bit more of the turn-in capability, something like the Porsche and the Beetle. But I do want to point out Chile, as I did mention, is in second place currently with his teammate Tay the Day in third, so the Citroens are strong here at Sardegna.
So what we're suggesting here is will it be a Volkswagen versus Citroen?
It seems to be that way, honestly. And then you have the 2 teammates in second and third with that long front straightaway. Like the Citroen has that 7th gear, it has that top speed that the Beetle doesn't necessarily have. And when you have that drafting partner for that front straight, Alex Rogers, I can see him getting caught out quite easily. Currently, our provisional positions here in qualifying with just over 5 minutes remaining. We got Alex Rogers in first with a 1:18.7. Our Chile in second with an 18.9. Our Tay in third with a 19 flat. Our PKMZ in fourth with a 19 flat. Kobu GT in fifth with a 19.2. Kev Meister in sixth with a 19.2. Beckham in seventh with a 19.2. Willie Wug in 8th with a 19.4. Contrail in 9th with a 19.6. Thomas TT in 10th with a 19.6. ERA Stig in 11th with a 19.7. Jake Dan Harry 12th with a 19.8. Hideki Sama 13th, who I believe hasn't quite set a proper flying lap here yet, so that's a bit of inaccurate. And then Dan's rounding out the back of the grid in 14th, now once again on a flying lap, and he's actually purple in the first sector.
Keeping that eye on board with Dan's now. This is a huge qualifying for Dan's.
A lot of pressure on him right now.
He needs to get this sector right. This is the sector that won't favor the Mustang. It's a twisty section, but the torque of that V8 in the front will help him pull up the hills. So he's lost the purple. He's not going to be fastest anymore, but he should improve from that 14th position. A few more corners to go as he goes through. As he goes through Setso, then Obia. The last corner here. Narrows on the exit, gets back on the power.
Too much curb there.
Let's see where he crosses the line. Should be a pretty
Got to
good
be at
lap.
least inside the top 10.
Top 4th.
Oh, top
19
4.
flat. Nice.
That'll
That's
be
solid.
good.
Solid.
Well, yeah, it could be good. Don't know
Might
about
be
who's-
just enough. Maybe. As you were telling the times in tier A and lobby A, best time here is a 19 flat, and then we see 19.2, 19.3, 19.4. So we might see a lot of people from lobby B in lobby A if the times don't improve in lobby A. That
Well,
would be
speaking of improving times, we have our Chile going provisional pole with an 18.7.
Oh, Chile's not at the pole position to his name yet.
That is true, and Willie Wug currently in 3rd place with a 19 flat. So all the drivers improving now that a lot more fuel is being burned. 3 minutes till the end of qualifying. Just gonna get the notification. The drivers now know 3 minutes is left. So how about an update on Tier C since we just got one on Tier B?
New pole position guy in Group C, techno guy in the B2. It's just a 120.032, just shy of going below into the 19. So Pierre's now been relegated to 2nd. He's 2/10 behind techno guy. Turbo 99 Tenku is at least nearly half a second off Pierre's fastest time. Flat Out Forever in 4th. With a 120.7 by the looks of it. Then we've got Eternicus. Chris F in the first of the Citroens. Surprised to see him actually down in 6th, considering he was the fastest guy in Group C before qualifying. So, you know, I mean, we've got 4 minutes left in this qualifying session, so it can still change.
One thing to note, as we just crossed the line for 2 minutes remaining, Alex Rogers did quite a bit of fuel burning there before we came into the pits. So it seems like this is going to be his last chance to try and snatch back that pole position from Chile, who also just made a pit stop and is doing his outlap now and doing also, it seems to be, well, it looked for a little bit there, a little bit of fuel burning. So it's going to be a bit of a shootout here towards the end of Tier A.
Oh, can I come back to Group C? I was just saying about Chris F in the Citroen. He's just gone fastest, 119.652 for Chris F in the Citroen.
Team Bryans definitely seems to going to have a strong qualifying pair. Let's hope they can keep it up throughout the race here. Let's go on board with Chile on his last flying lap and see if he can improve. Quarter tank of fuel left in that Citroen and a new set of racing softs on his car. Let's see what he can do as he crosses the line to start his final flying lap. And towards turn 1, braking just right around the 100-meter board, gets the car turned in. Nails the apex perfectly back on the throttle, controls the wheel spin. Does he lift through this section? He does not lift, keeps on the throttle, carries the car out wide. That's a brave move, hard on the brakes, gets it turned back in. Half throttle, full throttle now. We transition to the left side of the track, and he's purple. The right-hander will take the runoff to carry more speed. He does not. He might have been able to take a slightly wider line there and carry more speed down this hill. Use the extra bit of track, a little bit of it to get the car turned in, carry a bit more speed. Braking just before the 50-meter board. How much curb does he use? Just a little bit. Just use it on the exit. Just a tiny bit. Still purple. A couple more corners left to go. He's flat through here. Does he give a little bit of a lift through here? Got quarter throttle back on it now. Just a slight lift. Dab of the brakes for this last corner. Gets the car turned in. A little bit of the run out there. Not too much time here. Comes up to the line.
Oh, is he? No.
Ooh, 1,000th.
1,000. Oh man, that was so close.
So Rogers has got to do it now.
Let's see what he
All the
can
pressure
do.
is on Alex.
Chile just missed beating his time. He is purple, but a few more corners left to go. He might be able to snatch it away from Chile. Actually, Dan's looking at the leaderboard on the left side, is in third, but once again, he does have that 3-place grid penalty. So let's see what Alex Rogers can do. One more corner to go.
Chile has not had a pole position yet, whereas Alex
Well,
has
he's
had
wide on the
7.
exit. That might cost him. That may cost him a 10th. Will it be enough, or did he gain enough time? Comes up to the line.
Oh,
He just takes it!
It's like 2,000s.
No, that is 600, 62 hundredths.
He just snatches pole position away from Chile there, and that could potentially be his 8th pole position.
So currently your positions as they stand in Tier A as we wait for one more driver here to come up to the line. Doesn't look like anything will change here as every driver seems to have stopped. Let's go over to the live timing board here. We have Alex Rogers on pole with an 18.6, followed by Arc Chile in second with an 18.7 flat. Wasn't quite able to improve last time in the last sector. We have Dan's in third, but he will lose 3 positions to a grid place penalty. PKMZ in fourth. Willy Wug in 5th, Arctay, the other Citroen in 6th, the ERA, the Stig in 7th, Kobu GT 8th, Contrail 9th, Kev Meister 10th, Beckham in 11th, so poor qualifying from Beckham here, Hideki Sama in 12th, Jake Dan Harry in 13th, and Thomas TT, excuse me, if I can correct myself here, Thomas TT would actually have qualified 7th, and the rest of the field, as I mentioned, from 7th on back, would have gone up a position. So Jake Dan Harry would in fact round out the back of the grid there. But a strong qualifying from the ARC boys here, I would have to admit here at Sardegna.
Alright. So Tier B, I just see Thunderpick crossing the finish line, and I'll just get the live timing up. So we have Janir with a 1:19.0. I think that might be enough to get on Lobby A. Not gonna speak too early. Oh, we're off. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
you weren't gonna give us like Group B or Group C, not there, lateral.
No, you can go ahead. You can go ahead. I was just grabbing something to drink for my water here.
no, it's alright. It's alright, man. I was just talking. Janir had a 1:19 flat. I think he's gonna make it in Tier A.
Yeah, he should be. The 19th flat would put him about mid-pack.
I think a lot of people. What's the drop off for Tier A? Lobby A?
The slowest time is Jake Dan Harry with a 19.4.
Oof, we have 6 people from Lobby B. Oh man. RC Maddie at the 1:19.3.666 in the GT as well, in the Citroen. Interesting.
Well, 5th place is Willy Wug with a 19 flat .008. That's 5th place.
Man.
People
People are not gonna be happy.
And this, if you're saying that 6 people might make it, what about with Dan's as well? Because he has to add that free good penalty. He might get to race in Group B.
Maybe. No, I don't think so.
No, I think he would still drop to 6th place because that's still a 19 flat. Either way, he would still. It's a place penalty, not a time penalty. So.
Oh yeah. So the slowest time was in what was it? A 1940, you say?
Yeah, that is the slowest time in Lobby A.
The fastest guy in Group C is only just like 2/10 off.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Sardegna catching a lot of people out here.
And Pierre, his last lap was quicker, 19.8, but it was still a quarter of a second slower than Chris F.
We're gonna see a lot of Beetles and Citroens. Lobby A, holy moly.
Oh, they will.
And
Techno
Porsche.
guy was third with a 20.0. I think the qualifying times are going to be very close here.
I do want to point out that Chile, in second place, he did after in the interview we mentioned at the end of last race, he did kind of sell himself short, but he's in second place here. That's his best qualifying I think he's ever done, and he almost took pole position. And the dude's fighting what he self-described as a pretty terrible cold. So
Yeah. remember the great start from the Citroen, right? If you saw that last race, how it
Mhm.
launched off the line, and the Beetle is meh on the start. So
And if you want to see how good the Citroen start is, our boy Ruby here just put up a podcast, a sort of podcast cover with interviewing Chili here about his race and how that race went. So if you want to check that out and get a bit more in depth of Ruby's analysis, feel free to check out that video.
all right, I think that was.
All right,
all
well, we are
times
just
together.
still waiting for all the times to be calculated so we can figure out who goes into what lobby here. But Willy Wug actually had a very good qualifying here in the Supra, which is a bit surprising to me. The 19th spot, as we mentioned, puts him in 5th. I don't know if he would out qualify. If that is his best qualifying here in ARC or not. But that Supra, it
No.
doesn't seem to be one of the faster cars here, but he put it up there.
Looking at my stats here, my Tier A stats, Willy Wug's best qualifying was 3rd, and that was
Okay.
at Interlagos.
Okay. But good job on him for actually taking that car, which I would say would underperform here, and putting it up there though. So good result from, I believe that is a German flag, not a
Yes.
Belgian flag. I had to make sure I get that right this time.
Yes, you got it right this time. Yep.
Well, we are still waiting on the finishing results here.
Yeah, the sheet's almost filled in, and we can sort them all by time, and then we'll know who gets into lobby A and who doesn't.
All right. Well, Thomas TT, he was one of the other drivers with the 3-place grid penalty. He had a 19.043. That should be good enough to keep him in Tier A. I believe that would have put him roughly around 5th or 6th, but he still has that 3-place grid penalty. So, and the Lexus ain't anything special in the start, so I could see him maybe not getting too many positions on the start and maintaining around that 10th, 9th place position. I believe he would finish in.
Possibly. I wonder if he's just thinking damage limitation. What can he salvage from this race, even taking a grid player penalty?
He did
There we
have
go.
that very strong finish at Kyoto, so that 2nd place. So we'll see what he can salvage here today. That should be quite interesting to see. Dan's not having to worry about dropping back to Tier B. Kevmeister, not the strongest qualifying for him. Towards the back of the grid here, might possibly end up in Tier B actually, depending on how the times end up. He had a 119.259.
Oh, well, I mean, if that's the case, then Kevmeister is going to miss a Tier A race for the first time.
Well,
He's not missed it. He's not missed a Tier A race at all.
we know he's been struggling. He did mention in the Discord many times that the V12 Vantage just doesn't quite work here. It's a bit of a boat, as it's the drivers like to describe it. And even his teammate Hideki-sama, and even just a 10th slower lap than him. So the Vantage is not quite working here.
Just seeing now. Go back to who was I going to say now? Really, see, this might be a stupid question to ask here, but we've seen these guys race on the team versus team. If you remember, I mean, it was back in August against the GR3.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's an advantage that the drivers that were racing in that team versus team that were racing on here, like Willy Wug and Dance and that, do you think that would be an advantage for them because they know the track a bit longer than the other drivers that haven't raced here?
Quite possibly, but track time can be made up by a lot of drivers on their own time, should they feel it. Some drivers choose not to practice until an hour before the race. Some drivers, like myself, try to practice the entire week leading up to a race and try and gain as much pace as they can. So they do have experience that we have seen here on the channel, but that doesn't necessarily mean they have the most experience out of a lot of these drivers.
Okay, no, I was just wondering. That's all right.
But it should be a good race here at Sardegna. It's not the infield isn't. It's not easy. It's very easy to miss your braking zones and end up in a gravel trap and lose a lot of time. We saw that in the Super Formula Series. There was a couple incidents there where some drivers ended up in those gravel traps.
Yeah, and I know that corner in particular. I think the corner that we need to talk about is that turn 8 Arezzo, because that's going to be a difficult corner. I did see in qualifying a lot of the Group C cars making mistakes in turn 8. I don't know what it was like on Tier A, but that's definitely going to be one of the corners to talk about. It's definitely could be a good place to overtake someone too. As well as turn 5, turn 1 as well. That's always a good spot there because you've got the long straightaway. Yeah, I can't wait for this. I think this is going to be fun. I think there'll be less pit stops because the tyre is a lot more forgiving around here than what it was at Kyoto.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is going to be a good race here. Who's your pick? Who's your pick? Go on then. You're quite good at these.
That's gonna be it's a tough. It's particularly a tough one today. I have to admit, Chile has been strong, and I think he has the race pace to maybe get by Alex. But if Alex can build that lead, and just gap out like he does, makes that 30-second, 10-second gap, it's gonna be hard to beat him. I know Chile's there; he's improved immensely, so it's gonna be interesting to see if he can actually take it to Alex Rogers. But if I had to pick a driver that would win, my brain says Alex Rogers, but my heart says Chile, and I'm gonna have to go with Chile.
Oh, okay, then that's quite interesting. Now, for the people that were watching this stream, I hope you weren't offended by what Dan's was saying there, saying I poop now. I hope you weren't offended by that there.
The video made for us, provided to us by our very own Arc Lemmy, so thank you to him for providing this video. But
All right.
it looks like we finally have the lobbies sorted out. So for Tier A, we have Alex Rogers, Chile, PKMZ, and this is the qualifying positions, I do believe.
Yeah.
So Alex Rogers on pole, followed by Arc Chile, PKMZ in third, Yanir in fourth. So a Tier B driver actually going up into fourth place.
That was better than Cro-Magno's 5th place last week.
Yeah, so that's Yanir showing some of the Tier B drivers showing that they got pace. Willie Wug in 5th, Dan's in 6th, and that is with his grid place penalty. Tay the Day in 7th, Mermaid Bubble in 8th, so back into Tier A for him. The Stig in 9th, Kobu GT in 10th, Thomas TT with his grid place penalty is down in 11th. We have, excuse me, I want to make sure I get this right, Jans in 12th place, Contrail in 13th, and Kev in 14th. So Kev just managing to stay in Tier A. So for Tier B, we lose Beckham, Hideki-sama, Jake, Dan, Harry, all to Tier B.
That's a surprise with Beckham. Considering he finished 4th last week.
That it is, and if I'm sure that the fact has appeared on the video, race starting soon video you're watching now. That was a driver who would have won both of our mid-season championships if he didn't miss that last race. So it's a bit of a shock to lose him now to Tier B.
Can I just mention there? I didn't know if I was interrupting you there, but look how close that is there. Top 14, 0.6 of a second. That's how much it was in Tier A.
I just noticed that Beckham is in Tier B. Man, that must be such a drawback. Holy moly.
Yeah. Because
and Law is on pole. He's not even. It's not like Beckham's in Tier B, but he's on pole like PKMZ was. He's in second place.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's only 7 thousandths that separates number 14 from number 15, so it's really close between Lobby A and Lobby B. It's going to be a tough fight every race, I think, to get on Lobby A.
Well, that's what we wanted to have here for this season, and we wanted some of the drivers who would outperform others to just be up there. So, should provide some excellent racing, mixes it up. It's been excellent so far, so once again, thank you to ARC for providing this excellent racing, not only for us to call and watch, but just for us to everyone compete in and have this community for us. As we're just waiting for everyone to join the correct lobby so we can get this racing underway for you here. No, I didn't get you two gentlemen's picks for the race win here in Tier A.
Did I say who won it last week? I can't remember if I did. It's definitely going to be between a Citroen driver and a Volkswagen driver. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to sit on the fence here and just commentate on the race. No, I don't know. I'm the same as you. My heart wants to say Chile, but I just think Alex is on a different level with that Beetle than now.
Yeah, I agree. I think Chile improved quite a lot. I don't think he's on that level to beat Alex already. Maybe that might be a bad assumption. I don't know. But you know what? I'm just gonna go for the alternative here, and I'm gonna go for PKMZ this race. You know, that Porsche. I think it's gonna be. Yeah,
it's gonna get killed at the start there, Ruby. It's gonna be down to about 10th place going into the first corner.
That's true, but if he doesn't lose too many places, because Janir is in the Beetle as well, he might surprise. You never know with PK. He's a very good driver.
Actually, speaking of Beetles, with the Jans also making it to Tier A, you have 3 Volkswagens in Tier A for this race.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's gonna be some good points, regardless for Team 2, I believe, is their team name. So regardless, some good points for them. But hopefully, we get some good points on board for Chile and Tay of the Day for Team Brian. So all the drivers have joined the lobby. We are waiting for the stuck checks to get underway here. So hopefully we can bring you the action quite soon.
I'm just quickly writing down all the drivers and what tyres they're going to be racing on, because this has always been a pain in the backside doing it.
So I guess we should cover, for those who might be watching and aren't quite familiar with how we do things for the racing. Every driver is required to use 2 different compounds over the course of the race. So whether you start with the hards and go to the mediums, or mediums to the softs, softs to the hards, you have to use 2 different compounds throughout the course of the race. And the compound that you change to, each compound has to be used for at least a minimum of 1 lap. So you can't just make a pit stop, change tires, and then come in and make another pit stop. So you have to at least do 1 complete lap. So that's you're going to see some varying strategies. Some drivers starting on the softs to try and gain as many positions that they can on the start when everyone's grouped up. Some people going for the mediums on the start to try and outlast people, maybe gain some positions when other drivers swap to the mediums. So it's going to be some interesting strategies here today.
Yeah, I've seen a few people starting on the medium compound tyres by looks of it. It might not be a bad idea, but a lot of them are going for the soft.
I feel like the softs would be a considerable advantage here with the infield section that we have. The up and down, the off corner bankings, the hard braking zones, those softs would gain a lot of time here, especially with how tight some of these corners are. It's quite deceptive with how wide the track is and just how tight some of those mid corners are, like Saracen and Arizzo. So the softs I could see being the stronger tire here, just overall for the course of the race, not just because of their pace, but because of just the grip, being able to get the power down through some of these off-camber corners. But I don't think it's necessarily bad to count out the mediums either, just how much more laps you can get on them, especially with cars like the Volkswagen Beetle, which is known to be very good on its tires. I don't think we've seen anyone switch to the hard tire compound yet this championship season, though.
No, I was looking back at last week, everyone was all racing on softs and mediums. I think it's going to be the case again. I think it's just all down to the time, because I think with the hard tires, it's going to be at least maybe about a second and a half slower than the soft tires, and that's going to be a lot. Although saying that, if you do start on the hard tires, you could be all right making a one-stop strategy. But it's a case there that are you going to lose a lot of time racing on the hard tires than say on the medium tires, if you will.
Oh, it looks like there might have been a slight issue with some of those times, and we may have a new list posted here.
I think it was only 1 time that was off, so it shouldn't be too much of a correction.
Okay.
But that would mean that Defiant would drop back into lobby C, and then Freddy goes into lobby B. So we just have to wait for them to swap places, and then B and C are good to go.
I'll be surprised to see Defiant in Group C there too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a dropout of lobby B into C, so it's just on the edge. Sadly for him.
Okay. I was gonna
I bet
say, based on the last times that was posted, not the updated times. You don't want to get it here. Yeah, between Marfless and Mpredi that said they had the exact same time with a 1 minute 20.307, but the updated list here is not accurate. The Mpredi actually does have a 119.777, which puts him in lobby B. So we're gonna get the start. It says now in 2 minutes. So I believe we've covered basically everything we can basically cover up before the start of the race. So we're going to take a small break here. Us casters calm our voices down while we wait for this race to start. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. The race will be starting momentarily. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now back for the final here of the ARC GR3 Championship Series here, live from Sardegna in Italy. On pole position, we have Alex Rogers, followed by Arc Chili, his best qualifying so far. PKMZ in third, Yanir in fourth, up from Tier B, good qualifying from him. Willie Wug in fifth, Dan's in sixth, Hay in seventh, Mermaid in eighth, Stig in ninth, Kobu GT 11th, Thomas TT in 11th, Kobu was in 10th, Dan's in 12th, Contrail 13th, and Kevmeister in 14th at the back of the grid. So let's see how they go underway here. I'm going to go on board with Chili for the start of this race. Green lights now underway. That Citroen is an absolute rocket ship off the line as Alex Rogers is left sleeping. Let's see, we see Tay trying to go up for the top three here now. But there's a bit of bump and rub towards the back of the field, almost 3 wide as they go towards turn 1. Tay maybe giving Alex Rogers a slight bump. Nope, backs out of a PKMC, trying to go for the outside, take that second place. Looks like he might be able to get it. Going to be a close battle here for the mid-pack here as Tay tries to hold around the outside of Dan's in his Mustang. So Alex Rogers will hold on to second, but we see Yanir maybe almost trying to go up the inside of Tay here as they go through Domas Navas. And they head in towards Saracen, so nope, they go single file here. We see Mermaid bubble up into 7th place now. A little bit more battling towards the back of the pack there between, I believe that was Kevmeister and Jans. Let's see if we can get an action here. That is, yes, that it was Jans and Kevmeister going out of here. Looks like Mermaid will go up the inside of Yanir. Nope, Yanir will hold on as Kobu GT almost spins the rear end of that car, but will hold on to it, but will drop back now into last place. So once again, as we mentioned, Aritzo actually catching out a driver here. It was Kobu GT almost once again loses it, so getting a little hot under the collar there after that mistake on this first lap. But right now, Chili, looking at our leaderboards, is up by 1.5 seconds leading over Alex Rogers.
I tell you what, that Citroen got off the start like an absolute rocket ship there. Alex, it just looked like Alex was just going napping at the start there. What impressed me the most was PK. I don't know how in the world he managed to stick a Porsche in third and keep it third after the first corner.
That's a very good point. We know that Porsche is not exactly the best car off the line, but looks like Tay of the Day has got a bit of a queue forming behind him for that 5th place, with Yanir actually doing an excellent job to compete with these Tier A boys after his qualifying lap. But Yanir not quite let him go by. A bit of a mirrored battle as we see it just up ahead. Looks like Dan's and PK going at it now as they exit Saracen and head to Villacidro.
Yeah, Yanir, yeah, he's a good racer. We him in the Ronald McGann Trophy Cup Series, if you think back a few months ago. And he's going around the outside of Aritzo. That was brave. Didn't do it though.
But there's still that queue of cars forming behind. We see Mermaid Bubble trying to get himself involved in this battle here. But Tay of the Day almost goes wide. Gets a tire into the gravel trap. He's going to lose almost 3 positions because of that mistake.
And that is a definition of NASCAR called clothesline. Pretty much there. It's just the house stack of cars for 5th on back. And now Bubble's made a good start in that Mercedes. Where did he qualify? 8th?
Yes.
8th, and he's up to 5th now, so good start for Bubble. And I believe that's is he the only Merc in the field?
I believe at this point, yes, as is
because Beckham is in Lobby B.
Lobby B. Oh, Tay the Day makes a mistake going into turn 1, late brakes way too late, gets into the back of Willie Wug. Let's get a replay of this here. So he tries to go to the outside of Janir and late brake around the outside. We have seen the move work in the past, but he just gets on the brakes on the rumble strip and just there's no grip on those tires when he makes that move.
Good job there from who's that?
And now he's back in 11th place, so he's fallen 5 positions in the span of 1 lap.
And he was battling for 3rd place just at the start of the race, and he's just fallen back because of his little mistakes.
Contrail trying to look up the inside of Tay there, trying to get the move done, but couldn't get the power down to hold it, so he might lose a position to Thomas. As we see Kevmeister trying to go on the outside of Stig here. A lot of action towards the back of the field here for the battle for 9th place. As we see Tay just all over the back of the Stig here. So the Stig, Tay the Day, I should say, struggling quite a bit here on race pace.
Yeah, surprising that he is, because in qualifying he looked quite fast. In the practice, I think he was about 3rd quickest in practice. So T doesn't need to put a little bit of pressure on himself. He knows he's in a very fast car. He there's still plenty of time. There's 35 minutes to go, so you know he can catch up there pretty well.
Looked like his thing had a little bit of a wobble there in his GTR. We're going to jump back to the front of the field here to get a bit of an update. So Chile maintaining that gap, 1.5 seconds over Alex Rogers so far. We'll see how that battle can go on. That Beetle does, we do know, he's slightly better on tires, but behind Alex Rogers is a 3-second gap to Dan's in third and PKMZ in fourth, just under a second behind him, with Mermaid Bubble in fifth, now trying to close that gap. Yanir in sixth place. Yeah, Willy Wug in seventh, followed by Jans. Right, you look up the inside, bit of a dive. Oh, a little bit of contact, but maintain positions, no impedance there. We see Kevmeister in ninth place there, followed by the Stig in 10th. So Kev trying to look around the outside again, not quite close enough to get that move to stick. Then we have Tay in 11th, followed by Thomas TT, excuse me here with the camera, in 12th, followed by Contrail and Kobu GT running up the back of the grid. So Kobu actually has fallen even farther back here. So struggling with the rear end of that GTR on this track, having trouble getting the power back down.
I'm surprised there, because that is his favourite car. I'm probably having problems at Arezzo.
Back at the front of the field, Alex Rogers actually is closed by a couple tenths towards Chile, but this battle will develop as time goes on. PKMZ doing his best to try and close. Actually, no, excuse me. Mermaid actually managed to go by PKMZ, so Mermaid has elevated himself into fourth place. PKMZ back down to fifth.
Yeah, just talking about the tyres, the top four are all in softs, whereas PK is the first on the medium compound tyres. So PK, that's why he's just losing some positions. He's on the medium tyres. Chenier is also on the soft, so he'll catch PK pretty soon, I believe. Willy Wug is seventh. He's also on soft, so too is Jans. Kevmeister is also on soft, so take the day he's on medium. So the top 10, two of them are on medium tyres. I think Thomas has just made a pass on Contrail too, and Contrail's picked up a free temp penalty.
See if I can, yeah. See that?
Oh, 2 temps now. But he's got to burn that on the start finish line.
Oh, but he goes wide in the last corner, but he keeps the car pointed forwards. Maintain position, and it's a Stig behind him is a little too far back. So the GTR is not quite working as well here as they were at Kyoto.
Gap's still stabilising between Chile. Sorry there, Ruby, I'll go to you in a minute. I was just going to say Chile and Rod still stabilising 1.6 seconds. No, it's down to 1.5 seconds. So sorry, right, Ruben, you go. What's happening in Group B?
Yeah, so we are on lap 3 at the moment, Savoy and Lateral. And we had an interesting start from Hideki Sama. He actually had a false start, so he dropped from 4th position to 9th or 10th even. Then ARC Maddie starting in 5th, even had a better start, and he made positions up until the 1st, so into P1 he was 1st. That's how good that Citroën launches off the line. He led for the first lap, and then in the second lap, I'm not Beckham followed him around. And they went side by side in the whole of sector 1, so that's what turn 1 until 5 or 6, I guess, side by side. And then Beckham got the better of him, so now Beckham is leading with Maddie behind him, almost a second, and then Nugatti in the Porsche, Law in the Toyota, and Local Copy in the Mustang. That was it.
All right, well, thank you, Ruben, for the update on Tier B. As we just saw on screen, there is a close battle between Jans, Willy Wug, and Kevmeister as they believe they went through Aritzo there. Almost a little bit of a bump between them. But actually, the two Beetle teammates now, Yanir and Jans, the two drivers from Tier B, are nose to tail in 67th place and are slowly working their way up the grid. Chile still 1.2 seconds ahead of Alex Rogers, the other Beetle teammate in second place.
I was just about to say they're going. What was saying in Group B there? Someone going side by side with the gatekeeper. That's not right.
In third place, I'm gonna say a new nickname. You guys tell me whether or not it works or not. Pad King Dans.
Pad King.
I still like to say the outsider.
Yeah.
Both work, but I just say Pad King because not only does he use the controller pad, but also because he's got the Always sponsor in the back of that Mustang.
That's a good one.
Pad King Dan sitting in third place. This is a much better show from Dan. You know, the first race Kyoto, It was by far his worst ever race, worst qualifying, worst finish ever.
But now
sitting in a solid sorry lad, we're sitting in a solid podium finish here. Wants definitely redemption from this race.
that's true. Some points, some things he wants to forget from that first round in Kyoto, but definitely seems back to form here. We do know in the Super Formula Series he struggled here in qualifying. In the Super Formula Series, doesn't quite up there, but seems to have figured out the track now. So a bit of a learning curve for him, but back to form.
Someone's just come out of the pit lane. Contrail is the first to make a pit stop quite early, I have to say. Oh no, that was on lap 8. Sorry, my apologies. So he's the first, and he's gone to the soft tyres, which he started on the mediums. So yeah, so Contrail was the first to make a pit stop, but that's quite early to put on mediums on lap 8.
Yeah, well, we're 10 minutes into a 40-minute race here. So, I mean, 8 laps on a set of softs.
It's roughly about the cut-off point to where you make a pit stop, I reckon.
Yeah. So jumping to the mediums are what would we say those are again?
I would say
12,
about
15?
roughly about 10 to 12. Chili's actually going in. Chili's in the pit lane.
And Alex Rogers follows him. Now they enter with the same amount of fuel, so we'll see where they come out. Will the gap increase or decrease here at the exit of the pit lane? It will stay exactly the same. So good stops from both of the teams, but Alex Rogers slightly a bit closer to that draft of Chile now.
So more importantly though, Chile has gone to the mediums, whereas Alex is staying on the softs. So he'll catch Chile, so keep an eye out on that, because we'll have a battle for the lead sometime soon, because it's already less than a second.
Well, with how fast Alex Rogers is catching Chile, I believe he would know the difference in tires right now. It's not going to catch him off guard with Alex Rogers suddenly gaining several tenths a sector. So I believe he would know by this point the difference in strategies that Alex Rogers is going for. Farther back in the field, Dan's also made his pit stop. Still comes out in third, Mermaid Bubble with them, and PKMZ with him. When PKMZ pitted, he was on the medium tires, and he comes out now on the soft. So now he's going to set his sights on catching up to Mermaid and trying to get back that 4th place.
And Mermaid did the vice versa on PK. He started on softs, now Mermaid is on medium tires, so we'll have a battle for 4th place in the second anytime soon. Dan's stuck with the softs, so he'll have to change to mediums in another 8 to 10 laps.
Back at the front of the field, you have Alex Rogers all over the back of Chile here. Those soft tires aren't going to do him too much on the straightaway, but the draft definitely will. Chile will not fight him. He knows the different strategy is there. Oh no, he actually is going to try and keep fighting him.
Ooh, I thought Alex was going to push him, lean him into the bit of the gravel, side by side through Nora, and then Alex is past him.
Now, I have to admit, whether or not Chile does in fact know that the different strategies between the two cars, I would have to say that little bit of a fight on the exit of that corner through Otana, it's a bit of a mistake on Chile's part. Like, he left the door open. I think the smartest move for him on the alternate strategy would have just been to slot right back in behind Alex Rogers and lose as little time as possible. But fighting him through that second corner, Otana, I think that might have cost him just a little bit of time here, especially with Dan's on his new set of softs, going to be trying to set his sights on Chile. He's just behind now. PKMZ has managed to find a way by Mermaid for that 4th place. A little bit of a wobble there, though, through Pinone.
So I'm still right down near the people who changed the tyres in, so it looks like a couple of people have decided to stick on for the softs. Alex, Willie, Dan's, and Jan's in the second of the bubbles.
Arte, Chile's teammate, still back in 10th, not quite able to improve. Actually, the fastest lap of the race so far, the 19.2, actually goes to the Finnish man, Yanir. So Yanir, the Tier B driver, the fellow Volkswagen driver for this race, currently the fastest lap in, sitting in 6th place. So a good race for him so far.
Yeah, and also look behind him too, his teammate Chance there. So Beatles are going well, 1st, 6th, and 7th. This will be big for their championship as well, in the constructors.
That it will be. They're already quite up there in the constructors championship. Actually, I remember from the championship constructors that we showed at the start of the stream. I think.
Oh, I was going to say I thought they were the championship leaders. I didn't think.
Just trying to get the. No, actually, they need these points. They're currently at 6th place in the championship. About 80 points or so behind the Good Smile Racing in the lead right now. So this will be some good points across the board for them that they do need.
I don't know there, but you just saw Jans they're having a little bit of just running wide off of Sister. Still no harm, no foul. He's still stuck in with him just over a second behind Janier.
They do actually seem to be catching the pack in front. And as you mentioned, Mermaid Bubble is on the mediums, but they also seem to be catching PKMZ, who is on the softs. I
wonder if... let me have a look here. So PK, his softs are looking not bad as of now. Mermaid is... in fact, oh no, actually, just saying that, because Mermaid was ahead of PK. So now PK's got ahead of Mermaid. I've just discovered it. So Janier and Jans will slowly catch up Mermaid and overtake them, and that'll be more points for the bubble and the constructors.
Well, you just see the difference of the tires in the braking zone as they head into Aritzo.
Yellow flag! Someone's gone out!
Dance! No, PK, excuse me. I saw the blue car. I saw the blue car and I expected dance. That was my fault. But no, it was PKMZ who spun the car at the exit of Aritzo.
Flipped the gravel there.
See if I can get a better replay here. Just, he goes up, gets into the dirt, goes way too wide, and the car goes around on him.
Sad.
Oh, that's disappointment there for PK. First showing for PK this season, and he's put it in the kitty litter in Aritzo.
Well, that puts Dance up in 3rd, Mermaid into 4th, so even better points for all the Beetle boys who are now catching Mermaid. So you could have a Beetle, 3 Beetles in the top 5 here today.
That'd be quite a good showing now for the Beetles.
That makes me proud.
It brings a tear to Ruby's eye.
Right?
Wasn't it Rono that said he didn't feel the Beetle would be strong this season?
What does Rono know? He knows nothing.
Oh no. Rono, I don't know if you're watching. Don't listen to Save Along.
Rono is always watching.
Yeah.
So Junior is closer than he's ever been so far. Merb is doing a good job to try and hold on to his position. But we would expect the pass to be set up here quite soon. Half a second separates them, and even his teammate behind him.
You'd reckon it'd be at the start-finish line that Janier and the Jans will make the move on bubble.
You would expect, but that AMG's actually got a bit of the power. And if Mermaid gets the run like he just did, that gap kind of opens up. They start to close towards the end of the straight with the draft, but it's not quite enough. It doesn't close enough with the difference in the top speed between the Beetle and the Mercedes.
I was just looking at your screen there. That Mercedes got a bit of grunt on that start-finish line. Oh, he runs a little wide through Belving.
If Junier's going to find a way by Mermaid Bubble, it's going to be through Sector 2.
You were mentioning a few laps ago with Dan saying that you can close up with Chile. With Chile being on the medium tyres, he's not really. In fact, more than anything, he's lost some time. He's now down to 5.3 seconds now behind Chile. So I'm wondering if the Fords are struggling with the soft tyres.
Very well be the case. But still, it doesn't seem like the Beetles can manage to find a way by Mermaid. I see there's a little bit of a fishtail at the exit of Aritzo. One of the most hardest corners here on this track is Aritzo. Just off camber, uphill, you got gravel trap on the exit. We saw PK spin here before. We saw a lot of cars spin here in the Super Formula Series. So definitely one of the hardest corners on track. It's very, you think you can go faster through it, but it almost like it narrows on exit.
Tell you what though, speaking of the Beetle there, Alex is pushing, he's putting in some really consistent lap times in those Beetles. Last 5 laps have all been in the 119 regions, whereas Chile's still in the 120. That's all because he's in the medium tyres. He nearly went off there in after turn 3. But the gap now up to 4.7.
Let's see if it looks like there's someone in the pit lane now. It's Contrail making a pit stop.
Right.
See if I can the camera will work with me here.
He's staying on the softs. He's staying on the softs. So what's been happening in Group B?
Well, there's been an interesting battle going on for first place. We have I'm Not Beckham, Nugatti 12, and ARC Maddie. Yeah, all three fighting for first place. And in the first stint, Nugatti was on the medium tires, and Beckham and Maddie were on the soft tires. So they went all in together, right? And now Beckham and Maddie came out with the medium tires, and Nugatti is on the softer and faster tire. But Nugatti is still on the back of Beckham and is struggling overtaking him even with that faster tire. It's going to be interesting to see how that's going to play out, because the battle's been going on for a couple of laps. So definitely keep an eye on that to see what happens.
That's an update on Tier A. It looks like Yanir's going to pull into the pit lane, take his stop ahead of his teammate Jans. We will see. It looks like he might try to open the door for Jans to see if he can find a way behind Mermaid.
I wonder if Janine was going for the undercut.
He might have to, but I don't know whether he knows Mermaid Bubble is on the medium tires or not.
No, probably not. He'll be focusing on his own race at the moment. Let's see what he's on. He's sticking on a pair of softs. So Janir is, well, he's gone soft. So next pit stop he has to go mediums. Just over half distance in this race.
Actually, Jan seems to have the slightly better car here, as in just a few corners he managed to close that gap by 7/10 across the start-finish line, whereas Yanir was doing his best. I wouldn't say he was trying to find a way by Mermaid. Like he would go for a move if it was there, but he wasn't trying to pass Mermaid. So maybe a bit of tire conservation and fuel saving from Yanir.
But also, when you're in the rear of another car, you're also fighting dirty air too, so that also costs a bit more tire wear on the car. You know.
As the leader makes his pit stop, Alex Rogers is into the pit lane. We'll see what he goes to, 22% fuel. Chili goes in too, but Chili has 2% more fuel and is on the mediums, so that's an interesting strategy from Chili to make a pit stop on the mediums at the same time as Alex Rogers.
Alex is staying on the soft. So, Dan's has gone into the lead. So what about Chili? What's he gone? He's gone back to the soft, so he's done his tyre compound change. So I'm guessing that Alex's last pit stop, he is going to be on the medium tyres, whereas Chili can go on the softs.
Now, do you feel like Chili had to... I think Chili had to make that pit stop. He had to react to Alex Rogers, because if he didn't, Alex Rogers would have gone to another set of softs, or the mediums. No, he's on another set of softs. So if Alex went to that another set of softs instead of the mediums, like he has, Chili would have just lost time to Alex Rogers on a new set.
Oh, I tell you what, Chili's been held up so much by Mermaid Bubble. He came out right behind Mermaid Bubble, and I tell you what, Chili may have lost at least a second or two.
He's going to try around the outside of Arizzo. He's got the tires to do it. A little bit in the dirt, but he gets it around the outside of Arizzo. Good move from Chili.
And Alex has just passed Dan as well for the race lead. So, now again, a little moment, 10-10 from Chili. He's pushing this car. Like, I tell you what, this is surprising me to see the Citroen boy, like, up there, definitely.
But as I mentioned, Chili...
That's going in.
Okay, Dan's would make his pit stop now. Yep, he tried to make the extra lap work, but it didn't quite. But as I was trying to say, Chili had to make that pit stop even though he was on the mediums. The mediums normally would last longer, but he had to react to Alex Rogers if he went to the softs, otherwise he would just lose more time on those mediums. So he had to react, so in the end I would have to say that medium stint from Chili might actually almost kind of be a downfall for him, unless he tried to make up that time in the last stint.
But it also could be a good thing, because he's made the change from soft to medium, whereas Alex hasn't. He's got to make the change in his last pit stop. And that could be a beneficial factor come the end of this race, that Alex will be on the mediums and Chili will be on the softs.
That is very true. We're looking at Kobu GT in 4th place right now. A man who does have yet to pit, but has a train of cars behind him. As we see the two Beetles and Tay the Day behind them, trying to find a way by Kobu.
Look at that, that's a what is that? That's like a, how many cars is that? 6 there? That's a 24-wheel disaster, people!
Let's see Yanir, he's trying to go up the inside, not quite close enough. But Tay the Day will go wide and lose lots of time, so Tay the Day will make a mistake and go off the track.
I think that was just because of a reaction from Jan's engineer trying to pass Kobu.
Oh, that was just a beautiful move from here. Just slips up the inside there through Pilon. So Gunir actually now into 4th place ahead of Kobu GT, who does have yet to pit.
And what you're saying a few laps ago will be absolutely right. The Beatles will be in the top 5.
So there we see the battle for 4th place. PKMZ in 6th place after his spin. Went all over the back of Jans. Really trying to go up the inside into turn 1. He's looking at it. Not quite close enough to get it done though, but Jans leaves the room. But no, he will not get it done. As we see him back in the shot, there's a battle now for 7th place between Willy Wug, Thomas TT, Mermaid Bubble, and Tay the Day.
Really what they're having a bit of a quiet day there in 7th place. Do you remember him in the team versus team when he made that triple overtake on the start-finish line?
Willy Wug is one of those drivers who has the pace, but he hasn't quite been able to find himself here in Tier A.
Not just yet though. I mean, his time will come, definitely. He's definitely worthy to be in Tier A. He's a very good driver.
Definitely agree, but I feel maybe the Supra isn't quite the best car. Similar to what we saw with Kev in Season 2. The Supra, it's a good car, but it's not. It's when it gets to a track that doesn't suit it, it really suffers.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, definitely. I have to say a bit of a shout out here to Thomas there. We haven't mentioned about the guy second in points, Thomas there, Mr. Spaghetti. Was up in 8th place with also having that free police penalty. So he's doing well in that Lexus.
Just on board PKMZ as he's trying to close up the back of Jans and Gunir in front of him. Trying to find a way by both of the Volkswagen Beetles.
Oh, what a pass from the stick! He just passed T around the outside at Belvey.
Replay of that. Late brakes in the GTR, and yeah, he goes right around the outside. Great move from Stig. Tay gives him lots of room on the exit. Good clean drive for the both of them.
That is surprising because that Citroen is rapid fast down that straight, the start-finish line. So, good pass there from Stig. Sensational.
Back at the front of the field, Alex Rogers still leads over Chile. However, the gap is only 4 seconds now, as opposed to the 5 seconds it was when they made their pit stop. So Chile does seem to be slightly closing that gap ever so slightly. Whether or not his pit stops will favor him, remember, he doesn't have to go to the mediums again, but Alex Rogers still does. And still sitting in a lonely 3rd ahead of Gunir in 4th, Gant 5th, and PKMZ stopping all over the back of him. And across the start-finish line, when we see him move this lap by, he's the closest he's ever been. Looks to the inside, really late break.
Oh, he's going for it. He's
Jans
thinking
leaves
about
the room,
it.
but he can't get the power down. Back behind them is still Willy Wug in 7th ahead of Thomas TT and Mermaid. So there's a 3-car battle for 7th place there. It looks like Mermaid Bubble trying to go up the inside of Thomas TT. Thomas leaves the room, but Mermaid can't quite get the pass done. Excuse me. And back behind them, we have the Stig in 10th place, Tay in 11th, who's been struggling this race compared to his teammate, who's now battling for the lead. Currently 2nd place, we have Kev Meister in 12th place, Kobu GT, the man we saw spin earlier on the race, in 13th, followed by ERA Contrail in 14th.
There's a bit of battle going on for 7th place between Willie, Thomas, Mermaid, and the Stig, and also again that battle for 4th is still going on. It's Stig there in the background. Sorry.
No, I'm just trying to see the gap at the front of the field still. It's still roughly 3.8 seconds between Alex Rogers and Chile. As PKMZ picks up a penalty and has to serve it now on the front straightaway. So that's going to drop him back from this battle for 4th place between the 2 Beetle drivers who are now side by side going into turn 1. Jans tries to go around the outside. Good move from Jans.
Bubbles having a look on the inside of Thomas into Belvey. Not going to happen there just yet. He goes around the outside of turn 2. I think Contrail's making another pit stop. That might be his last pit stop, I believe. They're still side by side. Thomas and Bubble going at Domas Novas. Has he passed him? Has he passed him?
Yes, he has.
Yes, he has. And now Stick's catching him on the Saracen.
Thomas TT left the door open through Domas Novas and just let Stig go right on through. So now Stig might be able to take that 9th place away from Thomas TT.
This must be a bit heartbreaking here for Thomas there, considering he's second in the points and seeing that Alex is sitting in first place. Whoa! Constant!
A bit of a
synchronized
synchronized drift on the exit of Aritza from the Stig and Thomas TT.
Oh, that's perfect.
That's nice.
Give that a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
That's one for the highlight reel at the end of the season.
So actually, Stig has seemed to have made a mistake somewhere because he's now dropped 1.7 seconds off the back of Thomas. So as we were watching that replay, a mistake from the Stig has cost him the gap now. As we see some cars back behind him, see Tay and I believe Kevmeister making their pit stops once again, going for an undercut here. Back at the front of the field, the gap still 4 seconds, but Alex Rogers will need to pit and Chili will need to pit for fuel. Chili might not actually make it to the end of this lap on fuel, but that's going to be quite close.
So we'll go back with the pit stops. What's happening now in Group B, Ruby?
Well, the strategy I mentioned earlier from Nugatti paid off, and he now has a 5-second lead on I'm Not Beckham. Beckham stayed out a lap longer than Nugatti did, and really, yeah, he paid like with 4 seconds for it. And Jake Dan Harry in the Toyota Supra, he also got into the mix. His strategy paid off as well. So that three-way battle I mentioned earlier is now between Beckham, Jake Dan Harry, and ARC Maddie, and that's going on for second place. As we see Maddie trying to take the outside around turn 1, going into turn 2, but he cannot make it. Oh, there's contact. Ooh, that will be under investigation after the race. For the rest, yeah, there's Law in 5th place in the Toyota, Robocopy in 6th place in the Mustang, and Chris in the Citroen as well in 7th place. So it's a good job for him in his very first race.
So Chili's just come out of the pits now in 2nd place, but more importantly, he's not behind Dan, so Dan's can't. Dan's still in 3rd place, Chili's still in 2nd. So Alex, I'd imagine would have to pit this time by to go onto the medium tyres.
Will be interesting to see how much time Chili can gain when Alex is on those mediums. That will definitely.
And I think he's coming in now.
Pit stop is roughly about 10 seconds.
I can't even see it properly. What is it? Oh, okay. So now here we go. And Chili's just. Hey, yo, this is going to be interesting with 7 minutes to go. Chili, how bad do you want this win? How bad do you want this win? He's trying. You can tell he's trying. Dan's will have to change to the medium because he went softs, and he'll stay in third. Mermaid Bubble just coming out fourth, and he's on the soft tyres, so that's going to be interesting. That could be a battle for the last step on the podium between Bubble and Dan's. We know how fast that Citroen is down this straightaway, so he will gain Alex by at least maybe 2-3 tenths, at least alone on that straightaway.
Once Chile will hit that slipstream range, I think, will be very difficult for Alex to maintain that position. Really has to make sure Chile doesn't get in that slipstream range.
More importantly though, Chile's got to conserve those tyres, so this is going to be a bit interesting. Will Chile just go for it all, go do or die, or conserve a little bit of tyre wear and then just go for it in the last few laps? Yeah, and it's just a little amount of fuel. Alex is pretty much nearly the same fuel as what Chile has left. Just look at this here. Oh, the side, we said at the start it was going to be Volkswagen versus Citroen. It's pretty much lived up to its expectations. By the looks of it, I think Chile had a little moment on the exit turn and it's not really gained that bit much on Alex. Oh, they're going to go 3 wide. Here we go. Oh, contact. Going into Saracen then, we could be thinking about it. But yeah, that's a very good battle going on. And just a shame it's not really about for the latest day goes off at for the Cathedral. Oh, yeah, it was. Let's see. It's Addison. I would say racing incident.
That's been such a long time. I really had to dig deep in my memories to recall that. But no, that was true. That was actually a big battle between me, Dance, and Kevin, I think. Yeah, it was fun.
Oh. That's what you can't afford to do, Chile. If you see a driver ahead make a mistake, don't copy him. Oh! Sorry to interrupt you there, but what happened to Bubble? Bubble has fallen down to 9th.
Oh.
We did see him battle for a podium spot, and he's only down to 9th. Oh, I only just noticed it from the table, the top left of my screen. But it looks like Alex might hold enough here for the second win of the season, and 100%.
What a nice race.
Oh, look at this battle from Thomas. Look at the battle for Thomas. Look at this. Oh, and Tay Day finished last.
Throat's killing me now. Rip through the pain.
Maddie in 4th for the Vagisil team, and then we have Law 226 finishing in 5th. He's out of fuel right now, so he's going slowly to the finish line. Yeah, so that's it. Nugatti, Beckham, Jake Dan Harry, ARC Maddie, and Law in 5th place.
All right, well, thank you, Ruby. Sorry, for, folks, for the few audio issues we had the last 10 minutes of the stream there. But hopefully we're back and fixed and everyone can hear me now. So let's go on with some of the interviews we have here today. So let's go to our race winner, Alex Rogers.
Hey, Ala.
How you doing, Alex?
Yeah, I'm good, but very sweaty, thanks.
It's not often you see Alex Rogers. Not often you have to actually work for a race win.
Yeah, no, well, I'm either sort of miles up the road or spinning off into gravel traps, right? So yeah. Yeah, man, full congratulations to Chile, man. That car's insane. Like, yeah, I had to really work for that one. There was a point where he went to mediums. I was like, I'm gonna have to absolutely nail this. And then yeah, I had to just hold on the mediums. At the end there, it was, yeah, I can't even tell you how much I'm sweating.
Yeah, back to the start of the race, we saw Chile just absolute rocket ship off the line, but you got a little bit swamped on the start too by some of the drivers behind you.
Yeah, I don't know if they picked up slipstream or something, because Chile was that far ahead, I couldn't pick up any slip off it. But because of the run, I think, yeah, you start to pick up slipstream at some point, so it bunches a lot of people together, which might be a slight design flaw of the track, but hey ho. But yeah, we got through it all right. I know PK was on my outside somewhere, so I just kind of dealt with that, and then yeah, chased after Chile. But I couldn't keep up with him on that first stint. I was just about keeping on to him. And then
when you had to switch to the medium tires, the gap only closed slowly. It wasn't as fast as we saw some of the other gaps close in the race. Was that because you just really had to push that car in that last stint, or do you feel like Chile wasn't quite getting the most out of his set of softs?
No, I had to pedal the hell out of it. yeah, no, definitely. I've done a bit of work on the mediums this week, so yeah, they're not that bad actually. A lot of people think the pace is quite bad on them, but they're really not bad if you know how to get them going. So yeah, I knew I could keep him off. If I had about a 4-second lead, I knew I could keep him off. But when I came out of the pits, it was like 3, and then I like wheel spinned immediately, so it was down to like 2.5, and I was like, oh my god, here we go. So yeah, I just had to pedal it for 6 laps.
All right, well, some good points for Team 2 on the board, especially with Yanir and Jans, both in Tier A and having some pretty strong finishes. I believe it was Jans that came across the line in 4th place and Yanir in 10th place, so some good points across the board for you guys.
Yeah, they did really well. I don't know where Techno came in Tier C, but I think we've excelled ourselves this week. Yeah, I unfortunately didn't see them much in the race, but yeah, no, it's really cool to have two other Beetles in the same lobby. I'm sure Ruben loved it, but he was watching the Tier B race and there's no Beetles, so yeah.
No, sadly there wasn't.
They're all in Tier A.
Well,
yeah.
One more question. Next race, the home almost of ARC, Saint Croix. Are you looking forward to it?
No. Not really.
All right, well, thank you for your time and congratulations on your win today.
Thanks, guys. Speak to you soon.
All right, let's go to our 2nd place finisher, Chile.
La.
Hey, Chile. So, strong race for you today, but unfortunately couldn't quite get the job done.
Yeah, I'm gutted, to be honest. I should have probably won it. There's not really much I can do. Full credit to Alex. He got all the time out of the mediums. I really should have caught him on that last stint, but yeah, it's just the way it goes. I don't want to say that his strat was better because we were very, very similar. It's just, could have been faster, pretty much.
Well, we saw in the start, you opened up that gap immediately to 1.5 seconds, just went right up the inside and gapped out for a bit. So you had a strong start there, but one thing I want to talk to you about is when you went to your stint on the mediums, you pitted at the same time for the mediums as Alex, and then pitted at the same time as him when he had to go to a new set of softs. Do you feel that maybe you could have gone a few more laps on those mediums, or was it really just a reactionary call to not lose too much time to Alex?
I knew for a fact that the mediums were obviously just going to be slower than the softs, no matter how long you went on them. And it got to the point of, at least in my practice sessions, 8 laps was the max I was getting out of them. So the plan was always to get rid of them after 8 laps, no matter what anyone else was doing. So yeah, I literally again just did my strategy, and you know, it didn't work out. Just the way it goes.
Well, at the end of the last race, the first race we raced, you kind of sold yourself short. You said to yourself, I'm not really the team leader, I'm not really the fastest guy here. Today was kind of a fluke. Do you still believe that about yourself after today's events?
I mean, it sounds like, just from team chat behind the scenes, Tay was involved in a couple of incidents, so I don't think that helped him at all. Yes, I was faster in quali, but I had much more practice than him this week. We're still very equal. I don't want to claim the team leader moniker, because it's just not mine to claim, really. But you know, the pace is working. I'm clearly getting the hang of this car, so hopefully I can continue challenging for more race victories.
All right. Well, next race, St. Croix. Going to be a strong track for the Citroen, you think?
I think so. It was stronger at Kyoto than I thought it was going to be. It clearly does have the straight line speed that's required in St. Croix, so it should. You know, I'm not going to big up my chances. I'm just going to take it a day at a time, practice at a time, and we'll see where we are at with it. But it should suit the car. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for joining us, and congratulations on your best finish in ARC so far.
Thank you very much for that.
All right, let's go to Mermaid Bubble if he is here.
Hello.
Hello, Mermaid Bubble. You yourself had a pretty strong race there for a bit, but towards the end, there was a bit of an incident which caused you to lose several positions. We didn't quite catch it on stream. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, that's correct. I felt like I had a very solid race overall. And towards the end, I was gaining so much on Dan's that I kept pushing, and towards, like, I think the pre-last lap, I had about 3/10 left towards him. And in the T1, 2, 3, 4, 5, T5, something like that, the very wide right turn that's banked, I tried to pull a dance on dance, going on the outside, and I felt like he ran a little wide maybe, but it's also partly my mistake for not being patient enough, and I ran wide, hit the grass with my back wheels, and I spun.
Okay, well, you were one of the few, 3, I believe it was, Tier B drivers to move up to Tier A for this race. And actually, all those 3 Tier B drivers were actually quite competitive with the rest of the drivers in Tier A. Do you think you can keep that form up for the rest of the season, especially with the next race being St. Croix?
Well, I definitely hope so. St. Croix is one of my weaker tracks, to be honest, although I did quite good in the Super Formula series. I do expect to be in Tier A, and hopefully I can make that true for the next coming races as well.
All right, well, thank you for joining us, and we hope to have you a good finish for you next week.
Thank you very much.
All right, it looks like we have one more interview here. Kobu GT, are you here? Hello, Kobu. So a bit of an eventful race for you, it seemed out there. Towards the start of the race, a bit of a mistake towards the end of the lap, which caused you almost lose the rear end of the car. Towards most of the race, you were towards the back, and then towards the end, there was a bit of a kerfluffle between you and Tay the Day. What was your events, or what was everything going on with you today out there?
So the first lap was basically just driver error. I just lost traction. I kind of basically decided that I'm gonna try and have no traction control for the entire season. So getting used to all the elevation changes. I did a lot of practicing. It was just, you know, once you get into the adrenaline and racing with other people, you kind of just make those mistakes, especially since I'm not totally experienced with the no TCS yet. And then the incident with Tay was, I was very eager to try and get those positions that I lost back. I did basically calm down for the rest of the race and try and pull my way back in, and yeah, it was just an incident. I tried to wait for Tay, but I think he didn't think it was me. He thought he must have lost traction or something. So there's a little confusion there, and so we kind of lost a lot of time, and we kind of lost Kevmeister after that incident, so we kind of just had to settle in where we were at.
All right, well, but starting this race, Team Good Smile Racing, the team you were part of, was leading the way in the Manufacturers Championship. But after some of the results we saw today with not only you, but your teammate, the Stig, not quite having the best finish here in TRA, do you think you're going to have your work cut out for you for the rest of the season with some maybe having some hit and miss finishes?
I think it's going to be a little more difficult now, especially because we were missing Q. So yeah, we're gonna have a little tough time just missing one member out of 4, you know, because we dropped one of the 5. So yeah, it's gonna be difficult. St. Croix is probably gonna be our strongest track, so I think what we need to do is have at least 3 Nissans in Lobby A.
And I was about to mention St. Croix, a track that has historically been very favorable to the Nissan GTRs. Looking back to Season 1 when you and I were on commentary, both Kev and CJ, when he happened to race in the series, both had very strong finishes there. St. Croix should be a very exciting race, especially what we had last year. So are you looking forward to that one?
Yes, St. Croix is actually probably one of my favorite tracks to race on. I enjoy every single configuration, so it's probably gonna be a real good time, especially because the power cars are gonna be the ones to look at here, although the tire wear might be a little concerning.
All right, well, thank you for joining us and good luck next week.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude our driver interviews today and therefore our broadcast. Once again, thank you for joining us here on this Sunday. If you're here in North America, specifically Canada, I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. That's going to be coming up for you tomorrow. So thank you for joining us, and don't forget to like and subscribe to us on YouTube. If you want to join us, want to compete with the racers you see on stream, everyone's welcome to join, and as long as you pass that rookie test, you can enter any of our championship series. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff, and join us next week for ARC's home race, St. Croix. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you and keep racing.